Guardiola is set to leave Manchester City. The treble was completed this weekend, but the end of the reign is now in sight. This is massive news for rivals, sad news for Manchester City fans. We're going to delve into when he goes, the timeline behind that, and much, much more. Plus, William Saliba, his new deal confirmed today by the brilliant Fabrice Hawkins, who claims a deal will be signed and announced this week. On top of that, Manchester United rejected in their pursuit of William Saliba as they tried to convince him to leave the Emirates Stadium. Two big stories for you. Hit the likes and the share buttons. We're going to delve into the ramifications of these and what they mean for both clubs. Hit the like and the share button. Subscribe. This is the Done Deal Show. Let's do it. For the majority of my footballing life, it was very difficult for me to empathize, understand the sheer joy and adulation that rivals had when Sir Alex Ferguson announced his retirement and, of course, therefore leaving Manchester United. I saw their celebrations as bitter. I saw their jubilation and joy as embarrassing. Because for the biggest part of my footballing life, up until 2013, all I'd seen is Sir Alex Ferguson dominate football. The most successful manager ever. The most successful English-based manager ever. I never thought I would find myself in a position where I was begging and pleading and hoping and wishing for a manager to leave a rival club. I started supporting Man United in the late 80s. I was too young, really, to remember what it was like competing against Shankly and Paisley's Liverpool team. I don't imagine what it was like for Arsenal fans during Spurs' dominance and brilliant years under Bill Nicholson. Having witnessed what Pep Guardiola has done in the last 7 years, I now understand thoroughly, completely, wholly why everybody hated Manchester United, why everybody hated Liverpool in the 70s and in the 80s, and why when you have the best manager in the world at your club, everyday football life is painful for rivals. Because Pep Guardiola has established himself, in my opinion, as the second greatest manager in the history of the Premier League in 7 years, which is a phenomenal achievement. Completing the treble at the weekend has nothing but respect from me. The way he has managed his team, developed them, the style of football they play, the consistency of them. Again, it's 5 Premier Leagues on top of that in 7 years is phenomenal. But it's announced today that Pep Guardiola plans to end his Manchester City stay in 2 years when his current deal expires. That has come from both Jamie Jackson and from The Guardian and Rob Dawson from ESPN. And they claim that he will not, as things stand right now, and that's on the 12th of June, 2023, he will not be signing a new deal. We obviously know he signed a new deal in November just gone, which extended him for a couple more years. But I really want to gauge your opinion on this, because for me, City are the favourites to win the Premier League in the next 2 seasons. They could win another Champions League. They could achieve anything they want to. But Pep Guardiola does not expect to sign a new contract at Manchester City when his current one expires in 2025. Is that something for rivals to celebrate? Or is that something to take with a pinch of salt? Is it almost an element of don't get your hopes up, don't hold your breath? Only when he leaves, only when he officially exits and a new manager is announced, then maybe can you get excited. City fans may say, well, why even get excited, Terry? We're still one of the best run clubs in the world. We're not going to drop off the face of the earth. And they're right. But Pep Guardiola is either the GOAT or second to the GOAT. Either which way, the likelihood of the next manager being as good is nigh on impossible. City may never be this good again. May never be. Doesn't mean they won't win leagues, doesn't mean they won't win the Champions League, doesn't mean they won't win the FA Cup, League Cup, doesn't mean they can't do doubles, doesn't mean they can't do triples. But will they be this consistent and this dominant again? I highly doubt it. These managers come along once a generation. And the likelihood of you getting them back to back or you getting both of them in a decade or a 20-year period is highly unlikely. But I do want your thoughts and feeling on this big breaking news. And I also want to talk a little bit about William Saliba. Fabrizio Romano spoke last week that a new deal had been agreed. Now, a journalist who I'm on talking terms with, a journalist that I have a lot of time for, so I will trust his stories when they come out. That is Fabrice Hawkins. Go and follow him. He's not kind of a journalist who consistently tweets about new transfer stories. It comes sporadically, but it's always very good. States that Saliba has agreed a new 4-year plus 1-year extension, so a 5-year deal essentially, with Arsenal. What he also claims within this is that Man United and Bayern Munich were hot on his trail, essentially saying to his representation, if Arsenal can't get it done, let us know and we want him. And of course, this will be met with banter. United got rejected. Bayern got rejected. You can spin it that way. Fine. I would be more embarrassed if my football club wasn't making those inquiries about one of the best young centre backs in the world who may or may not become available. Imagine your club says, "Oh, we won't pay it any attention." Then there is a problem, and you're not best placed to pounce. So for me, it's a good thing as a United fan that my club were looking at him in this way. But this is another one of those important and imperative deals for Arsenal Football Club to tie down. I've got two trains of thought on this. The Manchester United fan in me is frustrated, annoyed, disappointed that Arsenal are suddenly behaving properly again. It really is. It's frustrating. But also the football fan in me, the host of the football terrace, neutral me, believe this is another impeccable piece of business from Arsenal. Behaving like a big club, tying down your talent to long-term, highly lucrative contracts, ignoring the nonsense that so many of its fans have peddled for years over wanting lower wage bills and demanding good net spend. Why? If you get it, great. But you shouldn't pursue that over trophies. And too often, Arsenal have allowed their highly talented players to leave, or they haven't landed the talent, the ability, the profiles, and the quality to either maintain or go to that next level over the past 19 seasons. That is a long time. So, as a rival, I am frustrated, but my frustration stems from Arsenal again doing good business. Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard on the way, as an example. Of course, even the likes of Reece Nelson, who I think is a very good squad and backup player for Arsenal. So Fabrizio broke the news the other day, now confirmed by Fabrice Hawkins. If you don't follow him, just go onto Twitter, just put in Fabrice Hawkins. Absolutely impeccable football journalist, not transfer expert, but football journalist. So make sure you go and follow him. But I want to get your reaction to these two big pieces of breaking news this afternoon. Pep Guardiola on his way out. Look, it's going to be 2 more years, so nobody's going to be getting too giddy as of right now. But it is claimed he'll be going at the end of the next 2 years. He will not be renewing again at City. How are you thinking and feeling about that? And of course, Saliba turns down United and Bayern, according to the media, but they were interested in him. They wanted to take him off of Arsenal, but he's committed to that new 4+1 new deal at Arsenal Football Club. Hit the like and the share button. Make sure you subscribe. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. See you all again soon.